Hey guys, welcome again to my channel, the another video of Finansopedia, and you are with me, Shayan Chatterjee. So, before I talk anything about the topic, I want to say a big sorry to my every viewer for being so late. Basically, I just have so many activities in my last 2 weeks, like some college events, some examination. So I just barely managed time for this video. So, and a news that I want to share to you, all of my viewers, that now I just received some certificates related to Indian Taxation Act. So now I'm pretty much confident to talk about direct and indirect taxation. So after this video, in my next video will be related to the tax related video. So further wasting any time, let's directly come to the topic. In our last video, we discussed about some shares, securities premium, etc. etc. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the types of shares and what is debenture. Basically, there are two types of share. Number one is equity share. Number two is preference share. And there is called something that is debenture. And there are so many other instruments like bonds, some money market instruments, etc. In this video is basically related with the equity shares, the preference share and the debenture. So what is equity share? In last video I just discussed about the what is share and what is share capital. So the share is nothing but a small part of the business capital. The share of capital is called a share. So a simple share who just a normal plain vanilla share, that is called the equity share. Equity shares holder are mainly the owner of the company. So if you bought a share of any company, means that if you bought a equity share of any company, you are the owner of that company and you will receive the share of profit in terms of dividend. So there is no guarantee that you will receive a dividend, because the dividend is nothing but a part of profit. So a company never guarantee you that they will get profit in their next financial year or etc. or anything like that. And if they earn profit, they are not guaranteed that they will give you dividend, because you are the owner. They can transfer the entire profit to the reserve and surplus, because anything that is concerned for business, the proprietor can do that, the promoter can do that thing for the goodness of business. So if you hold the equity shares, there comes you are the owner of the business, because you give the capital. Number two, there is no guarantee of any return, and in return you will receive dividend. Okay, and the dividend is not fixed, because there is no fixed rate of profit that company can earn. Maybe it's possible that 1 year the company sells so many goods, and that for that reason company receives so much of profit, and the next year company not able to sell like so many goods, and for that reason the company cannot get so many profit to distribute. So there is no fixed rate of dividend. You are the owner of the business and you can vote for company. You can attend every single general meeting of a company, because you are owner. That is your right. You can go anything related to your company. Any event that is related to your company, you have the right to go there, and also you have the rights of vote. You can vote anything that is related to your company. I said your company, okay, because you are the owner. You can maybe buy hundred of shares, thousand of shares, that is no limit that you can buy. So that is called the equity shares. And there is another term called the debenture. Debenture basically the part of loan, the part of liability. A debenture is a liability for a business. Now, for more specifically say that debenture is the long term liability for a business because it's a part of loan. So what is a part of loan? Maybe a company do not want to share their ownership to among the public, so they just go for a loan without taking a loan. Even they don't want to take a loan from a bank because the bank loan comes with so much formalities and etc. at all, and what they can do that they can just issue the amount of loan. Maybe they need a loan amount of 10 lakh rupees, so they just, same as the equity shares, they just break the entire loan 10 lakh amount of loan in smaller part, and the each and every part issued in the market to the public. Now every single part of the loan is called the debenture. So what is debenture? It is nothing but a part of loan. You can, for debenture, you are not the owner of the business, because for say for example, for a sole proprietorship business, if a owner take a loan from bank or borrowed some money from another person for sake of his business, did the person or the bank may become the owner of the business? I said no, because they give a loan. They will receive the entire money after some amount of time with some amount of interest. So the loan issuer get a fixed rate of interest. Same goes to the debenture also. The debenture holder is not the owner of a company, because they just give the company loan. After some amount of time, they will receive the money that he is given to the business. And for the loan purpose, the debenture holder gets a fixed rate of interest after, maybe let's say after a year, after a month, whatever it is mentioned by company. So the debenture holder gets the fixed amount of interest, and it have a maturity date. It will be matured after some amount of time. There is a difference between a share and debenture. Number one, a debenture holder is not the owner, a shareholder is the owner. I mean to say equity share. So for the ownership reason, the shareholder can attend every general meeting, but a debenture holder can't. They don't have any right for the company. All right goes to the equity shareholder. But in the time of liquidation, the money allotted by the promoter first given to the debenture holder, not the equity shareholder, because equity shareholder are the owner, and owner gets the last part of anything that is left in the business in the time of liquidation. So there is no guarantee that a shareholder receive the amount that they have given to the company. But there is a guarantee for the debenture holder in the time of liquidation. If the company had some assets and some money to give to their stakeholder, So debenture holder gets the priority because they are the liability for the business. That is not the part of capital. So a debenture holder gets a fixed amount of interest, and the equity shareholder do not get anything fixed. Even the dividend is not necessary to give every year or every month because they are the owners, and so there are some less risk in the debenture part because everything related to debenture, it is fixed. The interest rate or the maturity, everything is fixed. So there is some risk in the equity shares because the maturity date is not fixed, even there is no maturity date, and the dividend is not fixed. So there is a certain risk in equity, and the debenture is the safer. So for a safer investment purpose, the debenture interest rate is lower than the equity shares. The return that comes from the debenture is very lower than a equity share. Let's say for example, if a equity after 5 years, maybe the investor get a return of 18% for the shares that is invested, and he will receive the 9% in the capital, in the amount that he invested in the debenture purpose. So there are difference between a shares and a debenture. Now there is some people who want a shares, they want a shares which have the function of debentures. So they took some function for shares and took some function for debenture. That is called the preference share. The preference share, the what comes from the preference. So what is preference shares? What is mean by preference? In the time of liquidation, the preference shareholder gets back their money before equity shares holder, but it is the part of capital because there is a word called share. So the debenture holder gets the priority. So first company allotted to money to the debenture holder, then it goes to the preference shareholder. For some more features of preference share, I can say there is a fixed rate of interest. No, there is a fixed rate of dividend because that is the part of capital. A preference shareholder is a part owner. They are not fully owned like an equity shareholder. So they can go to the general meeting that is specified general meeting which has told that their preference shareholder can attend, and they get a fixed rate of dividend. So what is the difference between an interest and a dividend? Interest rate that company have to pay, that is nothing but expenses for a company, and dividend is a part of profit. So the interest given to the debenture holder or a debt instrument holder before paying tax, and the dividend given to any shareholder, it could be equity or it could be preference, after paying tax to the government because it is the part of profit. They are the owners. So there is some difference between preference shareholder and equity shareholder, that a preference share got the preference and they got a fixed rate of dividend, and there is a maturity period, not necessary. And the preference shareholder, some features are also come that let's say so there is two types of preference share mainly. One is convertible, one is non-convertible. Non-convertible preference share is a normal preference share that I discussed before. and a convertible preference share that will convert it into equity shares after some amount of time, maybe say 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So after 5 years, the preference share will be converted into equity shares. So now after 5 years, they can enjoy the rights of ownership. So now if you ask me, there is so many options like preference share, debenture. So why people invest in equity shares? Remember a dialogue from Spider-Man? Great powers comes with a great responsibility. That dialogue is changed in financial market, that great return comes with a greater risk. So if any scheme give you a better return, it will contain a higher risk. So higher the risk, higher the return. So there is some benefit to invest in equity shares that gives you a higher return. Now, for sake of company, why company issued so many shares instead of debenture? They just need money. They can raise their money from taking loan by debentures, or they can make money by issuing shares, by sharing their ownership. So why they choose to share their ownership? They can easily take loan from the market, because there is still no guarantee to give you back the amount that you invested. Because in the time of liquidation, if company had no money, then what could a debenture holder do? Because there is called a limited liability. I told you before that the debenture, the loan issuers only claim anything related to the business, not the owner, because they are the separate person. I told you before. So why people issued shares instead of debenture? Because the debenture comes with a fixed rate of interest, and equity shares comes with nothing. So whether company earns profit or not, maybe company suffers for a loss for a longer period, maybe 5 to 10 years the company facing a loss continuously, but they still have to pay the interest to the debentures holder, and they don't have to pay anything to the equity shares holder. So for in case of debenture, there is a risk for company, not for the investor, because investor receive the fixed rate of interest and company have to give the fixed rate of interest. Instead they earn profit or not. So that's all for today. So now you have some basic idea of share, preference shares, equity shares and debenture. And lastly, I want to say who can issue the debenture. Maybe it could be a company, or it could be a private company, or it could be the government also, for anything related to the government. There is another term called bonds that is similar to debenture. No so much differences. So I'm just skipping that topic. So that's all for today. Thank you to watch my all videos. And if you like this video, if you feel that this video is any helps to you, please share this video to your friends and give a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, don't go without pressing that red button. So thank you. Stay healthy. Stay happy. Bye bye.